morning, children. Today I'm going to continue with chapter 3, The Seed of Truth, written by Sudha Murthy. So please pay attention while I read and explain the remaining chapter. At last, the day came when all the children had to go to the king to show the plants they had grown. They started walking to the palace dressed in their best, holding beautiful plants in their hand. Only Pingla stood sadly watching them go by. Now, finally, the day arrived when all the children had to show the plants which they had grown to the king. And this boy Pingla stood near his house and saw children going with beautiful plants of different size and shape to the palace. So when Pingla's father saw his son sad, he suggested his son that why don't you go to the king with your empty pot and tell him that you have tried your best, but still this seed did not grow into a plant. So Pingla too wore his best clothes and joined the others outside the palace, holding his empty pot in his hand and ignoring the laughter around him. So Pingla also wore on his best clothes and joined those other children with his empty pot in his hand and went to the palace and ignoring the laughter around him. Now, why was he ignoring the laughter around him? Now, he was ignoring the laughter around him because all the children had beautiful plants of different size, shape and color, but Pingla's pot was empty. So these children were making fun out of him, but still he ignored the laughter and the fun that the children were making upon him. Soon the king arrived and began his inspection. The pots held flowers of different shades, beautiful and healthy, but the king did not look happy. Now soon the king arrived and the inspection began. The king began to inspect the flower pots. Now the pots of these children had beautiful flowers of different colors, shapes and size, and they were even healthy. But still the king was not happy. Still the king did not look happy after seeing those beautiful flowers, beautiful plants of different size and shape. And when the king reached him, he stood in surprise. At the end of the line stood Pingla, and when the king reached him, he stood in surprise. Now at the end of the line stood Pingla with his empty pot, and when the king reached Pingla, and when he saw his empty pot, he was quite surprised, he was quite shocked. The king was shocked. Now the reason why the king was shocked, because he saw children with beautiful plants with different size, shapes and color. But this boy's pot was completely empty. There was nothing in his pot. For that reason, this king was very surprised. He was very shocked, and he asked Pingla, "Child, why have you come with an empty pot? Could you not grow anything?" Then the king asked Pingla, "The child, why have you come with an empty pot? You could not grow anything from the seeds that I have given you." Pingla was sad. Pingla looked down and said, "Forgive me, your highness. I tried my best. I gave it the best soil and manure I had, but the plant did not grow." Then Pingla told the king, "Forgive me, my king. I tried my level best in growing that seed into a plant. I gave it the best of manure, the best of soil. Even I changed the pot of it, even gave it plenty of water and sunlight. But still that seed did not grow into a plant. It did not appear, it did not grow." Now the king's face broke into a smile. He enveloped Pingla in his arms and announced, "Here is the crown prince. I had given everyone roasted seeds which would never grow. Then Suddenly, the king's face broke into a smile. Now, why did the king's face broke into a smile? Now, the reason why the king's face broke into a smile was because, as we know before, that Vidyadhar was an expert in gardening. So he gave all his subjects or the children burnt seeds which would never grow. He gave those seeds to the children which would never grow. They would never grow into a plant. Okay, he gave them burnt seeds. Okay, for that reason, the king smiled. And he enveloped Pingla, he hugged Pingla, and he said, "Here is the crown prince. This child has been honest, he has been truthful, he had tried his best in growing the seed, and he admitted that the seed which I have given him did not appear, did not grow into a plant." Okay. I had given everyone roasted seeds which would never grow, just to see which child was the most honest one and would admit he or she had not been able to grow anything. Only this boy told the truth. Then the king said that I have given each and every child of my kingdom burnt seed which would never grow. And I only wanted to know the child who was very honest and admit that he or she tried their level best in growing that seed into a plant. Okay. I am sure he will rule this kingdom one day with truth and honesty. Now, then the king Vidyadhar said that I am very sure that this boy Pingla would rule the kingdom with truth and honesty, with hard work, with determination, and with kindness. And indeed, that was what happened when the king grew old and died. Pingla had learned everything from him, came to the throne and ruled Gandhara justly for many years. And indeed, whatever Vidyadhar thought Pingla during his period when he was a prince, and when Vidyadhar died, Pingla ruled over Gandhara in a very honest, intelligent, and in a very fair way. Okay. So children, this is the story all about. I want you to read the chapter as many times as possible. Until then, thank you.